2 years, and then there they go.
Congratulations to our man Deion Sanders for being chosen Sports Illustrated's 2023 Sportsperson of the Year. Michael, you're very close to Deion. What does this mean to him and to you?
I haven't talked with him, but I imagine, man, something like this means everything to him. This is what he's directed towards. The football field is the avenue by which he can accomplish what he will call his calling. That means helping young men, helping people. What we saw this season, and we talked about this last week, was it a success on the football field? That's one thing. One win prior to, then this win, you got 4 wins. Not just the 4 wins. Let's go off the football field. You sold out every home game. You infused that whole economy. And let's break this down. Let's get it off the money. Let's talk about the unionizing of people. I don't know how many African Americans that were all up in Buffalo and Colorado. Man, he brought people together. Black, white, purple, green, everybody came together. When we're talking about a Sportsman of the Year, what are we saying? You use your sports to make this a better place. That's the award. That's the award. So this award, yeah, you use this sport to make this world a better place. We got people coming over from everywhere coming to Colorado. Why? Because they were inspired. We sit up here every day and we talk football, we talk basketball, we talk sports. Why? We're trying to inspire you. You have a team. You see that team is down. You see that team fight back. You're going through something in your life. You say, well, my team did it, so can I. We're trying to inspire you. You're down, fight back, just like your team. That's what Deion did with Colorado this year. He inspired a lot of us. He made us remember what's important, coming together, growing these young adults. That's why this is a fitting award. He didn't make a bowl, but you needed to win something for what he did this year. I'm so happy, and I say to him right here, my brother, my best friend, I love you. Congratulations, my brother. You've earned this. Deion earned this more than anybody. Deion's, he don't drink, he don't smoke. All he wants to do is focus on helping kids. This is a crowning award for him. I'll get emotional talking about it because I know how important it is to him. So congratulations to him.
You know, I haven't obviously talked to Deion about it, and much like Michael hadn't really spoke to him about it. But anytime you are recognized for something positive, you always have a certain feeling. And I'm sure with Prime, he has a certain feeling. And there's going to be people out there says because what they're looking at is they're looking at the record. They only won 4 games, but it's not about the record. They didn't take the Colorado job thinking they were going undefeated this year. He took the Colorado job because he knew it was an opportunity, it was going to be challenging, and he was going to be able to flip it on his head and turn it around in a short period of time. You know, you talked about, Michael, being able to galvanize people, bring them together. And I remember this, Skip. Remember when I told you my friends had no allegiance to Colorado whatsoever other than...
Still wanted to go up there, right?
Maybe go skiing or something in Aspen, but that's about it.
Yep.
They spent their own money on their own plane, flying in just to see the Colorado State game. They didn't go to Colorado State. They didn't go to Colorado. They just want to be a part of what's going on.
I got you.
And they're not even black.
Right.
You know, white Jewish guys, they want to spend the money and fly in to see him do what he was brought there to do. So when you look at awards like this, to me, it's bigger from an individual standpoint than accomplishing taking his team to a bowl game or winning 7 games.
True.
This is bigger because it says more than just football. It says everything else. So congratulations to him, well-deserved.
Well said by both of you. Now allow me to read 2 little pieces of the lengthy article in Sports Illustrated that accompanied the announcement of this award to Deion. Here's the first chunk. This is Deion to Sports Illustrated. I didn't have the prime nickname in youth leagues, but I've always been that guy who hit home runs. I've always been the guy who scored the touchdowns. I've always been the guy who dunked and scored 30 points. I've always been the guy who brought people together, who broke up fights in high school. I've always been the guy that some people hated, some people ridiculed, some people doubted. No one just let me ride. No one gave me a pass. I've always attracted a judgmental crowd. That's how God designed me. I've always provoked emotions. Michael, your response to that quote from Deion.
And he's right. Because why? What provokes emotions more than anything in this country is when we say, we're going to do it our way.
Yep.
When you don't fall in line and become what everybody wants you to become, you are not the norm, you are an anomaly, and you're doing it your way. But if you risk that ridicule, then you will get these great gains, because when you step out on your own and you have this kind of success. There are African-American coaches that say, oh, my God, he took that route, but he still had this kind of success. They are inspired that there are other places and other ways now that I can go about it. It really is just an incredible award for him. And I'm so happy he got it, because this is bigger, like he said, than football. It's about his calling.
Now, to your point, one level deeper, the Sports Illustrated writer writes, Deion's not trying to blend into the overwhelmingly white demographic of his profession. That would be faking it. There is no small percentage of America that would prefer he just fake it and stop being so ... black. And this is Deion's quote, our country's not prepared for an African-American man with this title telling the truth, with being the head coach of Colorado, telling the truth. I don't think we're there yet, said Deion to Sports Illustrated. Keyshawn, your response to that?
I would say Deion is right on. Many coaches, black and white, follow the norm. It's just the reality of it.
It is.
For a lot of different reasons. Some reasons because they're not secure in who they are. They feel like they have to be the old golly oh shucks guy to get the job, opposed to being the gold chain, sitting with my sons and enjoying the fruits of labor and doing those sort of things, but at the same time, educating and not just necessarily worried about the wins and the losses. It rings so true. When Deion, it's crazy because like Michael knows Deion like I do, but even better. But when Deion says what he said in that Sports Illustrated clip about being who he is and not trying to be something different in the emotions of people, it sent chills through my body because I took a page from him early in my career to do it my way. I took a page from Muhammad Ali early in my career to do it my way, to not allow people to tell me that I couldn't do things a certain way. And I reflected, I look back at the emotional side. It's so funny, man. It's funny. I was talking to somebody that I did not know who happened to call my phone by mistake the other day.
Talk to him?
I didn't talk to him. I hung up and then I started texting with them because somehow they got my phone number.
Okay.
And we started texting about Keyshawn Johnson. And I wasn't Keyshawn Johnson. And we started, I'm like, oh, you got the wrong number. I got the right name, but the wrong number. Oh, I thought this was the loudmouth, such and such and such. So I'm now, Michael, I'm now messing with the dude, saying, why don't you like this guy? What did he ever do that? So now I'm giving him information. He completely, I don't know him. I just read about him and how he was. And so when I look at Deion, that's how people are. That's the world we live in, where they judge you based on a distance and not getting to know you and understand who you are. And Deion has a different calling than what they think he. It's all about Deion. He got the commercials, got the chain, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's about showing young men and women that they can too do the same things if they put their minds to it. That's all it is.
Who you are and staying who you are.
And stay who you are.
Don't try to follow everybody. God made you wonderfully and individually. That's what you are, wonderfully and individually made. I want to say this too, though, because he talk about this. We always talk about, well, like you just read about Deion being less black. You know, you want him to be something he's not. And which is the last thing he will ever be. It's the last thing he will ever be. But I want you to also consider this. He does it his way. But I see Nick Saban. I see Dabo Swinney. I see them in the locker room turning on music, dancing for them recruits. That ain't them. That ain't them. But you know what they're doing? They're saying it ain't about being me. It's about me showing these kids that, hey, I can come where you are because that's what I have to do to teach and coach you. We got a different group of people. You got to stop looking at, oh, man, you know, this guy's doing this, playing music in the locker room. He's doing what he has to do to communicate to who he's communicating to. You're not in that locker room and you don't know. Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney, when I see them on recruiting trips trying to break dance, I say, look at this right here. That ain't who they are. They're doing it because that's who the kids are. Come on, man. Let's stop being crazy.
But Deion doesn't have to do that, Skip, because he's Deion.
It's him. It's him. But what I'm saying is that's the reality of communication. Communication. I want to make sure that we're communing together. They're coming down on these kids' level to make sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
If Deion was to try to be something that he's not, he wouldn't even be able to recruit. I promise you that. Because the kids going to see right through the phoniness.
Yeah, absolutely.
As in a lot of coaches that coach at the college level, at the high level, they phony. And them kids see through it. That's why people talk about flipping and NIL. No, kids decide, that dude ain't even real. Mamas, black mothers and fathers, when you got to sit in their living room to get their kids and get them to sign off on their kid coming to you, they know that I can't send my son to that dude because he's not real.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to mention coaches, but they know who they are as they watch this show.
Let me say this one last thing, Key, one last thing before you go, Skip, and I'll close with this. Because I think that image of him on the sideline with his son. Now, one of the things I do, and I get pushed back on this all the time, I speak all the time about the issue, I think it's the greatest issue in this country, fatherlessness. We're 30% Caucasian Americans, 50% Hispanic Americans, 73% African Americans, fathers. That's what the numbers say. That image right there, Deion kissing his son, he's a father. He's busting the myths about black fathers, busting it up. Now, all of these single mothers with athletes, they're looking at this. And when he talks about how he's talking to his kids about, your mom is single with 2 jobs. She deserves better than that. I'm telling you, this is what that community needs, because a lot of those kids come from places where they don't have father figures. They're not just looking for a coach. They're looking for a father figure, and Deion gives them that. And he gives it for all the kids. Think about all the problems the kids had this year. Travis Hunter. What did he do? He brought that kid over and said, I don't want you having any issues about that. That's deeper than football. That's why he's the sportsman of the year. It's not just the football he's teaching and coaching. It's life he's teaching and coaching.
So, Keyshawn, last point, to your point. My favorite athlete growing up as a little kid was Muhammad Ali. I had 2 posters on my wall, Ali and Joe Namath, because those were the 2 who dared to be completely different from everybody else, but especially the great Ali, because he was so different that he paid dearly and severely for the stances he took early on in the 1960s. And Deion came along and had a lot of Ali in him because he did not care what anybody thought. He is one of one. He is the rarest of humans I have ever been around, and I was blessed to be around him some during his days in Dallas. He is very special as a maker of men. And to Michael's point and Keyshawn's point, in the end, he said last night on Amazon I am staying in college. And I'm starting to believe, we all thought maybe at some point some owner would come along in the NFL and say, you got to come do it. No, he is committed, heart, body, soul, to teaching young men how to be men in college football. God bless him. Okay, up next, we had to get back to what happened last night, because now, where do you rank Dak in the MVP race? That's a good question.
Yeah, last night.
Here we go. We got some movement on it. Here we go. Here we go.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.